Good morning, Mayhem with DJ Scotty right here on Rock 95. Coming up this hour, I've got a family 4-pack of tickets to the Renaissance Festival to give away. Tell you more about that in a little bit. And a big shout out to Jason Morgan stopping in the studio and hanging out with me for a
Oh, hey.
Guys, I've got some...
You know, I don't think there was a Transformer that more exemplified the 80s than Generation 1 Blaster. I mean, he turns into a boombox. So I figured, let's give this guy a good, proper Patriot Prime Reviews review. So let me find a good song to start this review off with. There we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Patriot Prime Reviews. Now, Generation 1 Blaster was the Autobots' answer to Soundwave, where Soundwave turned into a micro cassette recorder, Blaster turns into a boombox. Now, in the Generation 1 cartoon, Blaster was a very jovial character. He kind of spoke like a radio DJ. He was in multiple episodes. And a lot of you guys remember him most fondly from Transformers the movie. When he and Perceptor was up in the radio communications tower, Blaster transforms to a radio and sends out a message to Cybertron asking for help because of the Decepticon attack on Autobot City. Soundwave, of course, intervenes in the transmission, sends his cassette warriors up to take out Blaster and Perceptor. Blaster, in turn, releases his own cassette warriors to take on Soundwave's forces. So it was pretty cool. Soundwave had his cassette warriors and Blaster had his. Now, another interesting thing about Blaster in Transformers the movie was, where did he go? When they were rebuilding, Blaster intercepts a radio transmission from Spike about Unicron attacking the moon, transforms to a radio. The Decepticons attack again, and Blaster just disappears. Did he go AWOL? Did he run away? Was he a coward? Anyway, one of those unanswered questions is, what happened to Blaster? But in the Generation 1 comic book, Blaster was not a jovial character at all. He was a very hardcore soldier with a deep, deep hatred for Decepticons. Now, Blaster first appeared in issue 17 of the Marvel Comics, and became a regular in many, many issues. He was actually the focus of a lot of Transformer stories, because once he arrived on Earth, Blaster kind of became an outcast. He went against Autobot leader Grimlock, who took over after the death of Optimus Prime, and Blaster and Goldbug ended up being hunted by the Autobots. And Blaster had a great story arc. Like I said, he was a soldier. He hated Decepticons. So he ends up with Goldbug on these various missions out and about the United States. Finally gets captured. Him and Grimlock have a big fight on the moon. The Decepticons attack at this time, and Blaster and Grimlock make a truce. And Blaster actually ends up being leader of the Autobots for a short period of time. Fortress Maximus then shows up, takes over leadership of the Autobots, and Blaster is killed by Starscream in issue 50. So Blaster has this great run from issue 17 to issue 50 where he pretty much just gets wiped out. And I remember reading somewhere that Bob Budiansky loved writing for Blaster and hated the fact he had to get rid of him to make room for newer characters coming in. Now, Blaster came back, I want to say issue 76, but all he was a background character giving some information about Cybertron falling apart. He was actually drawn to look like his Action Master figure opposed to the way he originally looked. So enough about the history of Blaster. Let's get on to the toy review. Now let's go over Blaster's boombox mode first, or as we called it back in the day, a ghetto blaster. Now, for you kids who are used to your iPods and digital music, back when I was a kid, you rocked one of these on your shoulder, and that's how you walked around listening to music. You didn't put no headphones on. You found the largest boombox you could find, and walk the streets of your town blasting whatever hair band you were into at the time. Now, he is a very good looking boombox. He's got speaker details here, some great sticker work, and of course, he has a working tape deck door. And tapes were what you listened to music on back in the day. I like the fact he has a handle. Now, like I said before, he was the answer to the Decepticon cassette deck Soundwave. But the major difference Blaster had compared to Soundwave was Soundwave came with a cassette warrior. He came with Buzzsaw, which of course popped out, transformed into a condor. Blaster came with nobody. You had to actually buy his cassette warriors in 2-packs. And he had cassette warriors such as Ramhorn here, a cassette that turns into a rhinoceros. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the boombox mode. Now you can attach Blaster's gun to the rear of the cassette deck. The handle goes right in these screw holes here at the bottom or the top. You can even put the one on the top up like this, and now it looks like he has an antenna. So now let's get on to the transformation. Let's go ahead and remove the blaster from Blaster. And I love the transformation for this guy, how the handle disappears. What you want to do is slide this black portion over to the side, bend these parts down, which will form the legs, and the handles hide in here. Bend the legs all the way down, push in, flip these sections out for the feet. Once you have Blaster stood up, you're going to flip the arms around, like so, and press back into the body. Extend the arms, and then extend the fist. You're going to twist the fist around so the fist hole is facing up. Do the same on both sides, and then flip the head out. And there we have Blaster in robot mode. We just need to place the gun in hand. And there we go. There is Blaster in robot mode. He is a big robot. He's got some great size to him, good details, but he's pretty much a brick. There's not much articulation to him at all. He can move his arms up and down, and he does have a wrist swivel due to transformation. Legs, they're stuck. That's it. So you're going to pose him on the shelf, and you're going to either pose him like this, or you're going to pose him like that. Now what's funny is, like I said, he was the Autobot's answer to Soundwave, but the problem was Soundwave comes up just a little short when fighting Blaster. So there you have it, guys. 1985 Generation 1 Blaster. Now, do I feel like a Generation 1 Blaster belongs in your collection? Without a doubt. He is a great figure, and he's been reissued so many times you can usually find a version of him fairly cheap unless you want to go strictly the Generation 1 route. Plus the fact he only has one accessory, which is pretty easy to track down, makes him not a hard figure to find. The only issue you may want to look out for is making sure his chest door works. I mean, a lot of the old ones, that spring mechanism's broke. And guys, I want to thank you for stopping by, checking out my videos. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot more Generation 1 and modern era Transformers I'd like to put in front of this camera as well. This is Patriot Prime, signing out. Hoo-ah!